What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm super excited to introduce my next guest to you. She's an amazing artist, author, speaker, and spiritual guide with a passion to help others awaken the artist in their own hearts. She develops products and leads programs designed to dismantle the limiting beliefs that keep people stuck creatively. She has a ton of great content on breaking through barriers and developing your creativity over at her website, wendygyoung.com. So please welcome to the show, Wendy Young.
Hello, nice to be here.
Thank you, Wendy, for showing up today. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to, share some insight and wisdom with our audience. And I want to hear a little bit about your story and all that good stuff. So thanks for being here. So I have a question for you. I was doing a little bit of research, as I do with all my guests before the interview here, and I came across an interesting story that I would like to get some more context on. You got to tell us about a video that you actually took at a Vietnamese restaurant on a Christmas a few years ago. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. That's amazing. You found that. So I took my mom out on Christmas Day. She lives in a memory care facility, and I'd like to take her out, on certain days of the year. And so we got to the restaurant, and I was literally at the hostess stand giving them my name. And then all of a sudden I heard this loud sound. It was like, what was that? It's like something fell or something. And so I ran to the side and I looked. Right there, they had this giant aquarium, and water was gushing out all over the restaurant floor. People were jumping and moving, and I don't know, something prompted me to pull out my phone. We live in this digital age now where we can document what's going on. And I did. I took like a minute video and I posted it on my Facebook page. I woke up the next morning, there were like tens of thousands of shares or views. Yeah. And I was, and then I was called by all kinds of media, the local ABC and the CBS and various internet companies, and it was crazy. So I signed a little contract and, paid for dinner.
Oh,
paid for dinner. It paid for several dinners, okay?
Yeah, that's crazy. So so it was a huge aquarium and literally it just broke right in front of you, like while you were there?
It just, it's like the pressure of it, I guess. The glass just broke. It just exploded.
Wow. Were there little fish like popping out and stuff too, or like?
No, I think the fish, stayed down, in the tank, because it was, up probably at least halfway up where the water was gushing out. And so they were just trying to contain it the best that they could. Everybody was like on it. They were cleaning the floor, trying to pick up the water. And then when it got to a certain level, they started to fish out, I guess you could say, and try to save them. I honestly don't know. Hopefully they were able to save the fish or some of them. But it was quite an experience, and where they sat, my mother and I had full view of everything,
That's nice.
Yeah, it was just one of those interesting kind of, deals that doesn't happen very often,
Yeah, no doubt. No, that does not happen often. It's just funny. Yeah, when I came across that video, I thought that was interesting. And I used to have a fish tank with a bunch of fish in it, and I remember that was such a headache, just the whole thing. The fish are cool and everything like that, but man, it's a lot of work to keep a fish. And if that would have happened in my house, that'd be bad news. So I can only imagine the restaurant. Hopefully they had insurance. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did. And I was just now thinking about if there something I received from this other than, because I don't want to say it wasn't like pleasurable to watch that, but it was this quick action that sometimes in life we have to take quick action, and it was like practice for quick action, quick thinking,
There you go.
and you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things, it doesn't happen very often,
That's
something like that. So,
all right. Well, let's go ahead and jump into your story. I want to hear a little bit about how you got started as an entrepreneur. And I hear that you're an artist. I can see behind you. You've got an amazing piece of art behind you. Is that something that you've done? I imagine.
yes, it is.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that. How'd you become an artist and build a business around that?
Well, basically, when I was a child, I wanted to be an artist. I mean, in every aspect, I wanted to sing and dance, take tap lessons and ballet lessons and guitar and piano and painting. And, some of us as children are not encouraged, and I happen to fall into that category. So I had a pair of ballet shoes in the closet, but I never learned to use them. Um, and I did get one art lesson with a friend who every week had an art lesson. And then I got an oil paint set. And I really don't remember ever using the oil paints. I did draw one, I did have a canvas and I did draw something on it, but I never painted it. Somewhere it's in storage somewhere. And then because I had a lot of responsibilities as a child. When I was 9, my brother was 6 months old, and we had a live-in housekeeper, and my mother fired her because she made a mistake. And so then at 9, I became extremely responsible. I think I already was, and just more was put in my lap. So, I don't want to, it wasn't the ideal childhood. I'll just say it like that. I did not really get to play very much and certainly didn't get to make art. So by the time I went to college, it was like buried. Went to college, received a degree in computer science, which I have an analytical brain too, I guess, and being a programmer does take some creativity, a lot of frustration, just like art, but I did that. I graduated, I became a programmer, and I loved that job so much I stayed there for a whole year. And then I got a job in sales. Loved that job so much I stayed there an entire year too. And then I started my own business, and I was selling computer supplies and business forms. And I thought, wow, this is the best thing, because I couldn't imagine selling anything else because I loved computers. And this is, not yesterday. This is a long time ago. And so after 1 year working for this company, I had to quit the job because there were just too many issues. I'm sorry, I just kind of backed up a little bit to tell you why I quit. But I started my own company, and it helped me to develop my creativity, because when you have your own company, you have to do everything on your own. So, designing my own business cards, to my own brochures, to even designing the business forms for my clients. Long before desktop publishing, I was literally with pencil, eraser, and paper and ruler, designing custom forms that were print in computer programs, that software was designed to print on. So they would, go through the computer. I was designing, and it had to be exact. So that was art. I didn't see that then, but I would design it, and there I was creating a work of art. And oh my God, I felt so good. Well, as time went on, I started to awaken to that artist that had been asleep for so long. And it took me a good few years to actually give myself permission to do that. And the way that happened, the way I was able to start, was because I remembered some trauma from my childhood that was also buried. And it's like it just came up, and it was like one of those things where you have to deal with it. So I went into therapy. I was in therapy maybe a year, And the following year, my creativity kind of unleashed a little bit more. And then I signed up for a series of painting classes. It's the only training I've had in art. And so for 20 years, I created art in various mediums. I painted, I drew, watercolor, oils, acrylic, and drew with marker, with charcoal, with chalk, and various different kinds of markers, colors, and black, and but I did not ever call myself an artist. I just, I said that I'm very creative, which I was always very surprised about, because I wasn't a creative child, because there wasn't time for it. So creativity to me was like, I don't get this. Really, seriously, I did not get it. And then I sold my ergonomic business 11 years ago. And I was like, now what am I going to do? Because after my first business, I started another one. And I actually launched the first ergonomic website of its kind in North America. So, I was always thinking ahead, always very pioneering. And when I was able to actually own that I'm an artist, that's when everything really shifted. And the way it happened is that, I went on a search. I went on a journey trying to figure out, what am I supposed to do? And I tried a lot of things, a little bit of success here, a little there, but nothing that I could create sustainably like I had with my other businesses. And so one day I just started to take a series of actions, writing, very specific way of writing, a very specific way of doing art with writing. And I don't know, over a period of many, many months, all of a sudden I could feel these shifts starting to happen in me. And on one of the last ones, I remember sitting with it for like a month. And I had tried to raise funds to go to a class somewhere, and I wasn't able to raise enough. And so I thought that was going to be my answer. I was going to go to this workshop, and I was going to discover, okay, now exactly what is my purpose? What am I supposed to do? But I was able to go. So then it was like, oh my God, I'm going to have to figure this out on my own. And so it was just one of those things. I was literally, I don't know if I was sitting or standing, but it was just one of those aha moments where I just went, okay, I get it. Okay, I get it. I'm an artist. That was it. It was just like, you just have to just sometimes be quiet. Stop talking. Don't talk to yourself. Don't talk to anybody. Get really quiet. Go inside so you can hear. And I called my graphic artist. You're not going to believe this. Oh my God, I'm an artist. I finally get it. She's like, Wendy, I know. And the thing is that everybody else knew but me.
Exactly.
People would say, Wendy, we know you're an artist. You dress like an artist. You act like an artist. You talk like an artist. Everybody knew. It's like, I didn't know, because I had to own it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that story. And I love what you said too about giving yourself permission to be this, and to do this, and to really embody that that desire and that passion that you clearly have had your entire life. I think a lot of the people that are listening right now are probably on that journey that you were on when you started trying to, come to terms with this in yourself. So I'm curious, what advice would you give to somebody who might be there? Like, how can they give themselves permission to try that thing that they know they need to be trying?
So in my work that I do with people, I walk them through what I call pathways. And I identified 7 pathways that I walked myself through that helped me to own this part of myself. And the very first one is about letting go of what no longer serves. So that could be, what are the thoughts that I have about my creativity? What do I say? If even the least bit creative, what am I saying about it? Am I tearing it up, throwing it away? Am I constantly saying I don't have a creative bone in my body? What are the stories that I'm telling myself about myself, my art, my life, my childhood, my purpose? And really take a look at that and consider what of that you can let go of. You might not be ready to let go of all of it because it's a journey. It's a journey, all of it. I mean, I'm still on a journey. You don't know that this painting is not really finished yet. I just told you that, but
Right. Well, no, that's great, and I want to get the other 6 pathways, but it may take longer than we have here. But I love that one where let go of the things that are not serving you, and we were talking before we got on the call here about synchronicity, and this is hitting me right now because I recently have gone through some training that was kind of wrapped around the same idea of letting things go that don't serve you, right? And looking at your life in a way of, what stories are you telling yourself internally? Like you said, if you want to figure out what's going on, don't talk to people or talk to anybody outside of you. You need to go inside and do the journey within, because that's where all your answers are. And then these stories that you tell yourself on the inside, the ones that are negative, like, what are they about, and what is the context, and how can we eliminate that story from our life, because it's no longer serving us. So I really love that pathway, and like I said, I'd love to hear the other 6, but I think I'm going to make listeners wait and get in touch with you so that they can get those from you. So I love that story and that journey of yours, and I appreciate you sharing that with us. I'm going to go ahead and shift the conversation a little bit because I want to get your thoughts on the internet and sort of the digital landscape that we live in today. Because as you mentioned, you started doing this art, even though you weren't calling it art at the time. You started doing this well before computers were giving us all of these tools and making it so easy for us to do stuff today. What's your thoughts just on this digital world that we live in?
That's really a great question. I was just allowing myself to go back to that time in the mid '80s when I was literally creating on paper and pencil what people do so easily now on their computer or with apps, and it was slower. It was quieter. There was more interaction with people. I had to go and see my clients. I had to get in my car, drive to my clients wherever they were, and they literally had to sign proof saying, okay, it's okay to print that. So there was that relationship building that now we're struggling to figure out how to do that, to get away from our desk, to go and meet with our clients or to meet with, whoever it is that we're meeting with. We were doing Zoom calls and, we're doing email. And I will say, I remember I saw a movie with Demi Moore. I forget the name of the movie, where she was doing, sending emails in the company. And I remember watching that and I was so intrigued with it. So, even though life was slower back then, and back then it was 30 years, but there was always something going on that was, wow, that's kind of neat. I'm kind of curious about that. So there was also a curiosity, about technology. And of course I would come from a technology background, being graduating with a computer science degree. So that was kind of futuristic to me. And of course, now, because we have so much technology, more technology comes out faster.
Right.
So it was slower for a long time, and now it's just so much faster. So that's one thing. I would go out on sales calls. I didn't have a cell phone. I would have to have quarters in my car to stop and make phone calls. And sometimes it was cold outside, and sometimes it was raining, or it was just scorching hot, like it is in Houston right now, or maybe where you are. So, you didn't get to talk to as many people. You just, but you probably even had more time for exercise too, because you were out. You were kind of used to being out and about, and we need that. So
Yeah, I agree that some of the social sort of skills are falling a little bit to the wayside with digital media and, like you say, the way we communicate today. But it has opened up obviously a lot of opportunity and has created a lot of space for people to build something for themselves that they probably wouldn't have been able to do, or maybe not have had the I guess the drive or the longevity, let's say, to do it, before the internet. So I guess in a way, the message for those listening is you have no excuse. I mean, with everything at your fingertips now, you have no
yeah,
excuse. So,
yeah, it's definitely easier in so many ways, and so yeah.
what about digital marketing and like social media excites you? Is there anything that that you see in the future that's exciting you about it?
I mean, I have done a lot of videos in the past, I guess, since about 2008, after I sold my ergonomic company. That's when I started making video. And but it's changed since then. Now it's live. Now we can just get on Facebook or Instagram and, go live right away, and we can have interaction with people, which is kind of fun. Um, for me, I'm kind of I don't want to say I'm shy, but there's a part of me that's shy. There's a part of me that's a little bit reserved, and still learning how it's okay to take up space in somebody's world. It's like I'm going to come up on somebody's phone as a notification. Wendy is now live. You can click right here and you can talk to her, and you can ask her questions, or you can just listen, or come back later when she won't know that you're online. And so there's a sort of it's like I can see how the fact that we have this technology available now, it's helps us to grow. It helps us to grow. It helps us to spread our message in a way that we didn't have before. So, and it's like, it gives us the opportunity to not apologize for who we are in the world and what here. And I mean, because if somebody doesn't want those notifications, they can just turn it off, right? Or they can unfriend us or block us, or they don't have to listen to our message. So it's like about just like how I owned my inner artist. It's about owning my message, owning, why I'm here. Why am I talking to you? Why did I reach out and say, hey, I'm interested,
Yeah, true. Well,
So,
yeah, I mean, I love that, like you said, it gives us the opportunity to be authentic. And I think in a way, that can be the quickest path to success, because there's, so many people on social media, right? And we see all of these beautiful pictures and stories and ideas of life that in reality they're not real. Like, a lot of that's the best of the best of the best that makes it onto somebody's Instagram. If you want to get on and you actually show who you are and you're authentic with your audience, I feel like like you say, you build that connection so much faster, and people can see through that the fake, the false image that I'm saying some entrepreneurs try to project, you know, um, about their perfect life or their perfect business. But
yeah.
nothing is perfect. We all have problems. So I like that it does give you the opportunity to be authentic. And I think when you do, and when you are like yourself, and I try to be as much as I can, our audience can really connect with us that way. And that's kind of what excites me about it. So I agree with you on that point. So let me go ahead and ask you a little bit about the work-life balance. Because, well, I mean, as an artist, I imagine you're always making art. Is there a way that you balance sort of like the business side of it from your life? Do you have art that you do for clients and art that you do for yourself? How do you manage everything?
Well, I look at art. Art is not just painting. Art is also writing. It is, writing a blog post and considering what art am I going to put in the blog post. It's the art of what is my Facebook post going to be about, and what art, if I use any art, am I going to put there? Am I going to make a meme or a quote, or a video? Video is art as well. And so that's the balance. It's like, because art is so healing, and I know that, and I feel that I don't make enough art. I mean, I make more art than many other people, but not as much as many people, because I also am a coach and a healer, and I also in my personal life, I look after my mother, who is in memory care, and I like to look out for my dad, even though he takes care of himself. He's 93, and it's like I want to do more things for him, and I have a dog, so yeah, it's a challenge sometimes to balance all of it. But sometimes life just pulls you in the direction where you need to be. Like, my mother was in the hospital for about a week, and so I had to be there for her. So I was pretty tired all week, and I wasn't making any art at all. I did make a few Facebook posts, update them, which to me, sometimes it's writing a post, just giving yourself the space to update people on what's going on. There's an art to that as well, because you don't want to be boring, and you want to be informative. And so all of life is an art. It's like all of life, it is a canvas that we are recreating all the time. So how can we, constantly balance that? Sometimes it's a balancing act.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love. You're right. Everything we do, it can be considered art and should be looked at through that framework of, what am I creating, right? What am I putting
Yep.
out there in the world for people to see, and then how is that going to like sort of like what message am I projecting through that art? Because every piece of art is beautiful in and of itself, but there's usually always a secondary story that goes along with it, or at least an idea that the artist is trying to portray. So when you can come at every little piece of content and everything that you do in that way, I love that. Everything is a canvas, and it's an opportunity again to connect with someone and to share your ideas. So what about fun? What does Wendy Young do for fun?
Well, I do like to take my dog around the park and walk. I love to be outside. I absolutely love to be outside. And, I used to see more movies. I don't see as many movies now because, I don't know, Hollywood has gotten too weird for me these days. I love to be entertained, though. And honestly, right now, what I do, a lot of it is I love to read.
Mm,
And I love to do research about truth. I really try to go as deep into our collective truth as much as possible to really understand what is going on, what is going on in our world, because, we shape our world with truth. We cannot shape our world without truth. We need the foundation of what that truth is. And so that to me is the most entertaining thing in the world, is to learn new things and to have ahas. Now, I love to travel. I've traveled to many places. But I haven't traveled as much in the past few years because of my mom and, various things going on with that. But I just allow myself to enjoy each day as much as I can, because that's really all we have, right?
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And it's true. I mean, I try to wake up in that same mindset. Every day is a blessing. And if you can get up today and do something and maybe impact one person's life for the better, then you're winning. And yeah, I love that. So what kind of dog do you have? I got to ask out of my own personal curiosity.
He is he's I'm assuming, I've never had him tested, but I'm assuming he's a golden retriever mix.
uh, Very cool.
Yeah, he's
Doberman.
7. He turned 7 in February. He was born. My dog was born a leap day.
Wow, really? He's
Yeah.
not actually 7. He's going to be what, 2.5? No, or is it 7?
Well, he'll be. Well, he was born in 2012. I should have said that part. But so next year, February 29th, he'll actually have a second real birthday.
Okay, gotcha. Awesome.
And he's my first dog as an adult, and he's very special. His name is Simba.
Simba, very cool. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm a dog lover myself, so I had to ask. All right, Wendy, last question for you. Looking back on your journey, everything that you know now, what is a piece of advice that you would give yourself maybe 5 or 10 years ago?
Let's see. You know, I the it, this is so simple, yet it's so hard to really like fully get it. And it's really, don't worry what other people think of you. Don't worry. Yet people are going to say bad things about you. They're going to personally attack you. They're going to talk about you to your face, maybe to their children. Who knows? And you have to disengage. It doesn't help anybody. The best thing to do is just walk away.
Yeah, that's really good advice. And I imagine that's coming from a very personal place. So I appreciate you sharing that. And, I think as far, as my belief is concerned about that, I think that people tend to just project their own insecurity on you. Sometimes when they talk badly about you, or they have something to say, or they're being negative about you and what you're doing, it's really just a reflection on themselves, and how they feel about themselves. So I agree. Don't listen to what the naysayers are saying. Don't listen to the haters. And the thing too is, once you start putting yourself out there, as you have done, and as an entrepreneur, if for those of you listening, people are going to have their opinions, and that's part of being a public figure, is you're going to polarize your audience. Some of them are going to love you, some of them are going to hate you, and that's just the nature of it. So learning how to build that thick skin, and not be resilient and not listen to what those people say, I think is a great piece of advice. So Wendy, it's been a blast. I really appreciate having you on the show, and thank you again for taking your time to do this with us. Where can the people find you? Where can they get in touch with you and learn more about what you're doing?
So if they would like, they can go to my website, which is www.wendygyoung.com, and there's various blog posts that they can read. There's information about some of my services, and there's also you can sign up for my mailing list, and you can also join my Facebook group, and come to some free trainings, learn some things, and, share your art, it's all about helping people to awaken their inner artist, whatever that art is. So, because it's healing for themselves, it's healing for the world.
I love that. I love that. You guys definitely go check out Wendy. She is a breath of fresh air. It's been a treat having you on the show. Thank you again for showing up, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.